Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very quick update for me. So, welcome to Things Crypto Space. And you know what day this is today? This is Thursday, 9th of September, 3 p.m. in the afternoon in London. And just gone past the 15 minutes of the Sotheby auction with 101 Bored Apes as well as 101 Bored Ape Kennels, that we achieved a total price of 26,228,000 US dollar of the price. So that is 24.393 thousand US dollar for the 101 apes, as well as 1,835,000 US dollar for the 101 dogs. Now, more details are probably being discussed at the moment on Twitter with almost 1,000 people in the group, with in terms of who bought it and what might be people might be doing with them. Among the people sharing the exciting news, and I was almost in tears. I was in tears. I'm in the office, and my office network is not so good. I can't do live stream, so I'm like literally recording this video, and I'm gonna upload it in the next couple of minutes once I finished talking. I just literally wanting to scream, but my colleagues next door having Zoom meetings, and my boss is in the conference room having his meetings, so I can't jump out of the chair and scream. But it's like it's just so overwhelming. And why is it overwhelming? Not just because I own one of the apes, and not because it achieved an amazing price of 26 million. It's about the sense of ownership of you are actually part of this piece of history. History takes place every single second, and things come and go. And it is a matter of you make your research, you have gone to this space, and you literally believe in what you researched, and you actually take actions on putting a lot of money to a lot of people. It's a lot of money into something that you believe in and you have hope on, and you put your enthusiasm in, and you put your creativity in whatever you do or not do with them. That actually lead to this day today. And this project is only 4 months old. 4 months, okay? And that is history of blockchain, of the crypto space, and of NFT, and of arts. So it's a history of a lot of things together. And that's why it is so exciting to a lot of people. And to those people who are not aware of this. But there are also people who are gradually getting to know this through people like me who owns Ape, through people like those enthusiasts, those collectors, those whales, crypto players, etc. from the space. Like, for example, I have got fully support from my boss in terms of the investment in this, in terms of how we might be able to leverage the IP we own of our apes and dogs and mutants. And I also have people, my colleagues or co-colleagues, who might not get it like straight away, but slowly over time, after a repetitive conversation I have with them, they start to get it, especially when you show more examples of what the ape groups made on all the derivatives, all the potentials. Some people, they have children, they have daughters and sons. They would understand if you use metaphors of, say, if you own a Disney princess, and what will you do with all the IPs and merchandise in making movies and films, and all the products, branding, and they get it. So it is an effort to try to influence people that are not in the crypto space. And sometimes it can get frustrating with people who don't understand you, who think it's a ridiculous investment with JPEG. But mostly people understand it when you explain them in depth with things in real life that they can accept. It's just a matter of time for them to actually adopt it. And I just think it is happening so fast, but it is also happening inevitable. Like, with all the apes in the group, we know what's happening, we know the value, we know the floor is going to go higher up now. I think it was 69 ETH, the moments when the bid was closing. I don't know what it is now. I can actually check. But I think there will probably be people running like after the apes as well as the dogs. So I'm gonna just quickly check both price and then see how it is. So we have a floor price of, I don't think OpenSea is very good because it's actually lagging a little bit. Okay, it's still 40s, so I don't know where this 69 comes from, but we will see what happens in the next few days as the momentum of the auction. But also, do bear in mind, on the 17th of September, there's also an auction in Christie's in Hong Kong. So that's another lot of auction for the apes. That will be very interesting to see what happens then with that. Okay, the dog's floor is 3.7 at the moment. Oh, that's weird. It says 3.68 and then 3.7 before that. I think something's not quite right here. But we can always keep an eye on the price. But as I'm trying to emphasize, it's not just about the figure. Yes, figure is important. Figure shows something. Figure proves something. Figure gets people excited because money and everybody's largely driven by money. But it also is the content behind it. It's people's creativity. It's the spirit. It's the soul. You know, if I'm talking a bit over the physical side, it is the metaverse. It is the ape-verse that we're creating. That is the most exciting part to me. So anyway, I just want to share the excitement and the news. I mean, people probably already know, and I just find it fascinating, and I try to calm down and think more in depth of these market observations that I carry on, and sometimes it's such an enjoyable experience just to be soaked in with the environment, to be one of the apes, to just go whoop, 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 with the fellow apes, and just to be myself, to be yourself, whoever you want to be, and to do something creative or to do something that speaks to you, and I personally get really, really encouraged by how I participated in the space, and just a very quick personal situation of myself. I always wanted to learn arts when I was a little girl, but I studied English for a year, and then I was studying piano for a couple of years. I was technically good with playing the piano, but lacking of creativity because that wasn't part of the education. And then everything went really academic. Then I go to high school, and then I went to university. I studied in the creative industry. I studied in TV and film, so media. But I always had this dream that I wanted to be able to draw, to do painting, to do more arts. And I still carried on that on a part-time basis, even I started to work. But I never took it serious enough to actually create a business around it, or to really make my production, my creation consistent, to be meaningful, to be either commercialized or artistic enough to be exhibited. I mean, I had my photography work exhibited when I was completing my master's degree in photojournalism here in London, and we had a big exhibition. I had a photography book I printed. I don't have one copy here. I printed and I sold a couple of copies. I even sold a large print, but and my colleague was supporting me buying that. But then everything kind of gone back to normal, and I started a job as a marketing person, and I just kind of put my creativity stuff aside, getting on with normal life, accumulating deposit, bought my flat, having mortgages and investment in further houses, and life just carried on. And I just think sometimes you do need to stop, and I'm selling my properties in Manchester. What am I going to use the money for? My accountant was asking me, and maybe I will reinvest that into an NFT project that I do. Maybe I will use that as a tuition fee for me to carry on a professional, proper academic study in arts, And I just think there are points in life when you need to pause for a second, really listen to your heart, really listen to what speaks to you, and don't lie to yourself. Don't hide, and be brave to understand what you really like. And sometimes when we grow older, and that kind of really precious moments tend to be smaller and smaller and shrinking and disappearing. And I just think it's so precious if you can still have that, and if you're pursuing that, and if you're already doing what you always wanted to do, then that's brilliant. But I also, from my own experience, a lot of times you can't. You have to sacrifice for whatever reason. You have to compromise in life for whatever reason, especially if you're married and have kids and so on and so forth. It just gets more difficult. And I bet there are a lot of times it doesn't happen to many people, and they just live their life, carry on, take their responsibility, pay their mortgage, do their job, and and retire, etc. But I also believe there are also strong will that existing, and there's also way you can make, even it appears to be more difficult. But if you are doing what you want to do, people that you meet on the way will help you. People will pave the way for you if you know where you're going. And I think that is so important. But only you know yourself what you want to do and where you want to go. You can't rely on other people to tell you. And that's the moment that I would like to share, because that's just some of the thoughts I have in my head for the past week or two. And I think the Bored Ape Yacht Club supported me on that spiritually, and sort of echoed what I was speaking inside me for a very, very long time, that I ignored myself. And I hope those words help you if you're listening. And I do appreciate feedback if you want to share anything that you feel you gain from participating in the group or in NFT or crypto space. That would be really, really interesting. So I will stop now. And congratulations again to Bored Ape Yacht Club, Mutant Ape Yacht Club, Bored Ape Canoe Club, and all the NFT players, because this is a history moment for everybody in the space. So nothing I said is financial advice, and thanks very much for watching. Please follow me on Twitter, or subscribe and like my YouTube, and I will see you next time.